Hey there, Virgo. Welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy my readings, please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as leave me a comment and let me know if this reading resonates with you. Now, if you would like to, please check my Patreon account below. I am going to do, anyone who subscribes to my Patreon page this week will be getting a free tarot card deck. We've got the Illuminati Tarot right here, and I really love these cards. They're pretty easy to read. The photos are very similar to the original Rider-Waite, so if that's the deck that you are familiar with, then that one is pretty easy to find. The meanings, easy to remember. So we've got, your first card is, I want to say this is the Archangel Michael reversed, and that's a 5 of Cups. So the 5 of Cups is definitely challenges, and in case you haven't seen Supernatural, the Archangel Michael definitely, put forth some challenges in this situation. So what we're going to do this week is we're doing the reading called Lucifer's Cage. Alright, and Lucifer's Cage is a tarot spread that is about this, whatever's caging you in, whatever's holding you back. So this right here represents the cage, okay? Challenges, alright? And then the Judgment card is the seal. So the seal on the cage that's keeping you held back is Judgment. Alright, and we all know what that means, right? Alright. And this tarot card reveals the action that needs to be taken in order for you to overcome the obstacles representing the Cage card. Alright, and then we've got the Queen of Goblets reversed. Alright, so let's go ahead and read these cards. The Cage represents the 5 of Cups, and this is what's holding you back. Challenges are definitely slowing you down. Let's see what it says. 5 of Goblets. The 5 of Goblets represents a great failure or loss. Gadriel, I thought it was Michael, but it's Gadriel. Gadriel was tasked with guarding the Garden of Eden from evil. He ultimately failed, which led him to corruption of mankind. Gadriel is racked with the guilt for having failed to protect the Garden of Eden. The 5 of Goblets advises you to learn from your mistakes, then move on. Alright, the Judgment card is the next card, and that was going to fall under the seal. So this one has to do with, just as Lucifer's Cage is locked, using the 66 seals that need to be broken in order to open the cage, this card reveals the action that needs to be taken in order for you to overcome the obstacles representing your cage. So, Judgment. So, maybe you're afraid to do what it is that you truly want to do because somebody is going to judge you for it. I know that feeling. Okay, so it says the tarot card Judgment is all about reckoning and atonement. The Archangel Michael wishes to bring an end to humanity's time on Earth through the apocalypse, but ultimately he finds his own awakening when Castiel forces him to confront the truth of God's nature. Alright, the message of the Judgment tarot card is loud and clear. What you reap, you sow. The time to sow is now. The one cycle begins to come to an end. Balance intuition with logic and make decisions, and take time to really think through any and all possible repercussions of your actions to avoid regrets later. Alright, so that's a pretty good advice. I feel pretty strongly that that's solid advice, okay? The Queen of Goblets. Alright, so this one is the tarot card that represents what will happen when you take this action, okay? When you take the action, the seal card and free yourself from your own personal cage. All right, this one says Queen of Goblets, which is the Queen of Cups. Cups are associated with Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces. So you may be struggling with, a Scorpio or a Cancer or a Pisces, one of these water signs, especially since both of these cards are reversed and Judgment cards right between them. Okay, breaking the seal. Alright, so what are we going to do? Queen of Goblets. I just had it and I lost it. So, I'm sorry it takes me a little longer. These are not in the typical order. Alright, the Queen of Goblets is a nurturing but tough... Uh-oh, wait a minute. Okay, this is upright. So this isn't exactly your advice, but it's just a little bit of information about the cards so you'll understand the reversed a little bit better. So it says, but a tough matriarch figures much like the hunter, the mother, and the saloon owner, Ellen Harville. Ellen is very protective of her daughter, Jo. This sort of caring, fierce mother bear energy perfectly represents the Queen of Goblets. Okay, so the Queen of Goblets reversed is what you got. So it says the Queen of Goblets reversed loses control of her emotions, becoming dramatic and emotionally toxic. You have been letting your emotions get the better of you? Question mark. If so, recognize the consequences of your actions and do what you need to do to regain balance and stability. Ooh, something's biting me. Y'all, I'm tired of the South. It's crazy out here. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward advice. Let's pull a Hermetic card and see if it can't shed light. The law of self-knowledge. Okay, so knowing thine own self is so important. Okay, if you don't know who you truly are, especially if someone has accused you of being something, and maybe you really are struggling with that. Maybe you're really struggling with what other people think about you, and you're in denial because so many people that you hate have told you that this is what you are and this is what you're doing, and you can't overcome negative anything if you're in denial. So it doesn't matter if it's drugs or if it's a certain, a lot of times people have issues and they can't overcome them because they're in denial. So I say, if you don't know what your, issues are, take a shadow self-test, take a personality test, and see what you can do to guide your personality a little bit. I took mine and it was the caregiver, which I was a caregiver at the time, and then the next time I took it I was the teacher, and then the time after that I think it was the teacher again. But every couple years I will take now my shadow self-test said that I was struggling with abandonment. And I was in total denial of that. But whenever I finally accepted that I have been abandoned and that my mother has passed away and my dad abandoned me at a very young age and still doesn't really have much to do with me, so much so that they will tell me they're doing things and then they don't do it, or they'll, manipulate me into believing things that aren't true. And then they'll tell me it's because I'm epileptic, because they don't want to cause me to have a seizure. You know what makes people have seizures? Lies. So, anywho, law of self-knowledge. If you don't know your own self, usually what people are hollering at you when they're mad is true. So be careful of that. The law of contagion. Everything that you can come in contact with has a magical link with you. Alright, so basically That's just saying that your DNA is all over everything you touch. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it kind of reminds you that COVID is still out there. It's still all over everything. And whether you had your vaccine or not, you can still get it. I mean, I don't really care what the studies show. A lot of people are getting sick after they're getting the virus. They're shooting you up with the virus, so you're probably going to get sick. I would highly recommend stay away from people after you've had your vaccine for at least a week. I mean, 15 days would be the best, because that's what they would recommend if you had it. So why don't they recommend that after you've been shot up with it? It just seems common knowledge, common courtesy, but then again, who has common courtesy these days? No one will even wear a mask here in my hometown. But I just feel like if you care about the people in your town, if you care about your neighbors, if you don't want to go to funerals, maybe you've never been to funerals. Maybe you don't know just how detrimental it is to watch your neighbor be buried or watch your loved ones be buried. But it is very detrimental. And you should go out of your way to protect your loved ones and not out of your way to put them in an early grave. That's my opinion on the subject. Maybe it's a little bit harsh, but the law of contagion is more than just, it's more than just the fact that we've got a pandemic going on. It has to do with, fruition. Like, if you're thinking about something and then your best friend calls you, that's the law of contagion. Is thoughts are contagious, attitudes are contagious, emotions are contagious, negativity is contagious. The most ridiculous things, like if I watch too many Family Guy episodes, then the next thing you know, I'm like laughing like I am what's his name, Billy Bob off that show. And I'm like, turn that crap off. I do not want to be going to town like laughing like I'm The Simpsons or something. But yeah, law of contagion. Anything you say can and will be thrown back in your face, right? Alright, so let's pull a Grimm card. Moral of the story, people. What is the moral of this story? Captain Hook and Peter Pan. Alright, so the moral of the story is think positive. Always keep your word. A real mother loves and cares for her children. Have faith and trust, and find magic all around you. Never smile at a crocodile. Alright, so I hope this resonates with you. You all have a good day. Please go to my Patreon account, subscribe, and we'll enter you to win this beautiful Tarot Illuminati deck. And y'all come back and see me next week.